All right, we're getting into that next tier of wide receivers, and Stanley Morgan Jr. of Nebraska offers some interest and upside. We'll tell you what you need to know as we look at him next in our 2019 NFL Draft Profile Series, hosted by DynastyLeagueFootball.com.
The NFL Draft Profile Series, NFL prospects, break it down, let's get it. People's pen and the gridiron scholar, time to do it major. Let's see who running the field, let's analyze the data. Yeah, let's go.
All right, the easy joke is to call him Morgan Stanley, but it's really Stanley Morgan, and it's Junior at that. No relation to any other former NFL players, but he has an NFL future. John, this Nebraska wide receiver has had a pretty impressive last 2 years, but is it enough to make you think he's going to thrive at the next level?
Andy, I'm old enough to remember his namesake playing for the New England Patriots in the 70s and 80s. And let me tell you, if you want to watch some great film of a player who can take the top off of defense, Stanley Morgan of the Pats was an amazing home run hitter. Now, Stanley Morgan Jr. of the Nebraska Cornhuskers is much different of a prospect, but I think he has a role and a place in the NFL. Some people are very bullish on Stanley Morgan Jr. I like him, and I have a fourth-round grade on the young man. Now, in high school, he was a two-time All-State pick in Louisiana out of New Orleans, and he's a top 30 receiving prospect. It's kind of amazing that he chose the Cornhuskers, who are not exactly known to be throwing the football all over the place, but he went to Nebraska. He has played in 47 games at Nebraska. And as a junior and senior, he was all Big Ten second team. You mentioned it. In 2018, he established a school record with 1,004 receiving yards. And over the past 2 seasons, he has 131 catches for 1,990 yards and 17 touchdowns. Now, what I like about it, over the last 2 years, he's played in 2 different systems. And he played for his coach, Scott Frost, who was at Central Florida 2 years ago and came over to the Cornhuskers and made Stanley Morgan the center of his passing game. And Morgan responded to the change in the offense and a new coaching staff. For his career, he exceeds my benchmark with 189 receptions. He had a team target share of 29% last year, which I really like. And he came close on the yards per reception. He averaged 14.5. Now, at the Combine, he was very solid. He's among the top 10 prospects in agility and in speed. So his scores are nice. He's 6'0" and 202 pounds. Fluid body control on a solid frame with well-distributed strength. He's a comprehensive route runner with exceptional spatial awareness. He uses his body to gain positioning against defensive backs. He's a glider who stacks opponents on vertical routes. He tracks the ball well and adjusts to the ball in flight. He has a full route tree on the resume from playing so long at Nebraska, and he was employed in many different alignments. So I like the fact that he's had experience playing so many different positions. He's got good hands, but he occasionally makes drops. After the catch, he's an operational mixture of determination, patience, vision, burst, and physicality. He's a very good blocker in the run game. He also returned kicks as a freshman on campus. He is moving up my draft board. I don't have him in the top 12 at this time, but he's on my sleepers list. And if he ends up in the right system, I think he could be an elite possession receiver down the road. Andy, what do you see in Stanley Morgan Jr.?
He's an intriguing prospect for me for sure, as I love certain things about him, but the overall feeling I leave with is unremarkable. He's a pure hands catcher and has some of the best mitts in this class. He looks like a vacuum sucking balls out of the air in his direction. But that is primarily when he has an open window. With traffic around him, the completion percentage drops. He'll still make the contested catch here and there, but the odds drop to about 50-50 in those instances. Now, he has acceptable size for the position at 6 feet even and 202 pounds, and his testing numbers at the Combine put him in even better standing with a 4.5 240 and a 3-cone of 6.78. That was second amongst the wide receivers. The reports will tell you he's a balanced and complete route runner, and the tape backs it. But the production at Nebraska was solid as well. He achieved a 46 and a 35% dominator rating over the past 2 seasons, so the metrics crowd is sure to like this guy. He's not a blocker, and that is really what exposes his limitations as a receiver for me. He is not creating a ton of separation on his own, nor is he winning against press coverage. After the catch, he'll get you a few extra yards, but again, he isn't dynamic in this area. When you put it all together, he feels like an above-average role player who could potentially thrive in the slot. I saw Lance Zierlein of NFL.com comp him to Adam Humphries, and that comp meshes well with what I just said, an above-average complementary player. Depends on what you think of Stanley Morgan. As John mentioned, the Nebraska background doesn't really make you think of a prolific receiver, so maybe he's been kind of held back and will be unleashed at the next level. But at the very least, you should have a solid floor for this player in the NFL. What do you think about Stanley Morgan Jr.? Leave it in the comments below. Tell us if you like him. If you don't, go back and check out the other receivers in this class. How would you rank Morgan at the position? Let us know. Find other great articles and podcasts on dynastyleaguefootball.com, as well as John's written work on Football Diehards. You can check out my newly launched expandtheboxscore.com and check out every touch that Stanley Morgan had during his career at Nebraska. Thanks for checking us out today. Hope you enjoyed this.